My glass bottom ships and my epic attractions. I did epic attractions. Everything I did was epic. Pyramids, everything. It was all big. Um, and one of my things, because I could afford a lot and because I had invented a lot of the technology, I had these huge glass bottom ships that looked just like the greenhouse in the last thing. And what they were I think they were wooden structures. They were wooden ships basically with these big steel structures that would support the glass, or they might have been made of wood, I forget. But basically, the glass was 3 or 5 inches thick, sheet glass, really thick, really big, huge things. And there's like a little stairway you could walk down, walk around, and there's a lower level, and where you could actually walk on the glass, I think. And and it was like really thick, like 6 inch or 7 inch glass, just like huge, really thick. Needed this big wooden ship above to support it, and basically it would be deep down the water. Um, and people could walk around and see all the different things. You could immerse yourself inside the water, and it also required the building of statues to be in the water because I wanted something for them to look at. So they built statues in the water. They built a little pyramid and some other little underwater sea things, some stone buildings that would last a while, and basically my ships would take people out, and you could go on this little like cruise. And I think they used a paddle wheel because you couldn't drive it. What's it called? Drive it by the normal propeller, of course, because that's the ship. So it had a paddle wheel on the outside, and you could see the paddle wheels going around, and you could see everything. And you go down inside here, and you would be under the ship, underwater. And while you're under there, you would go by my little soldier armies, and would go by my temple or whatever. I had a temple or whatever. I had a bunch of stuff underwater, all built underwater using divers and equipment and stuff. They set everything up like a little. It's like a little mini city and some other stuff. That I think there are 2 or 3 of them. I think total. They're like 3 little locations that were by harbors or whatever, and people could get in the ship and kind of cruise on out, and they would see the ancient sunken city and the army and the little army. And what it was brass figures, and I think maybe some steel figures, some poured stuff. And you could see the ancient, what's it called, and the emperor's army underwater. And it had some stone tablets and stuff, and some other stuff. It had some stuff that looked really good and authentic and was really cool. And it was around 1900 or so. I don't know. I think it was like 1800, 1900, something like that. Anyway, and it had a temple or whatever. And it wasn't that deep. It was only like maybe 36 feet underwater because that was about as low or as deep as we could really go safely. So I didn't want my people overstressing themselves. So they found a flat plane and built some structures under there. Lowered them in using the big steamships, and they lowered in big pillars and basically built an underwater city pretty much. I paid for it personally, of course, and I really wanted to give my people something to see underwater. And it was in like 30 foot or 60 foot deep water, so they could see the city and stuff underwater, and the ship would cruise around and go on a path and see like the sunken city, the sunken city, and the Chinese warrior army or whatever. I forget exactly. I think there might have even been a Roman army or something, but basically it was the sunken city. I did epic attractions, and I had this big steel. I had 3 of them. I think there were 3 ships or 4 ships. They were really expensive, 5 or 7 inch glass, this thick of glass, steel structure, supporting ship, steam paddle wheels. You could look out and you could see the paddle wheels going. It was epic. It was really, 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 really cool, and everyone wanted to see it. Everyone rode on them. They love them a lot, I hear, and it was really awesome and really neat. And I was like, yes, awesome, I love it, and it made a lot of money. And then some brat came along and said that, oh, one of the glass planes broke and they all drowned. Just like, it's like, really? Seriously? I spend thousands of dollars on this thing. It requires a steam engine and steam drive and paddle wheels. This thing is literally like the size of a greenhouse, 200 feet long, 7 inch glass or 6 inch glass, solid thick glass. and big opening, so you could walk on up, big staircase, and amazing. And these brats come along and say, "Well, you got caught in a storm and they all drowned," and just like, it's like, seriously. I'm like this epic ruler, and I create these things which take whole countries to build, and then somebody wants to come along and mess with them. I mean, really. Anyway, though, it was epic and it was awesome. And there's lots of pictures of my big ships. You can't really see the glass structures underneath them. They just look like normal ships, but they're paddle wheels, and they're really cool. People really love them a lot, and it made a lot of money. And they mostly, I just wanted to pay for it, because I mean, divers, great big steamships to lower these big beams of stone into the water. I mean, it was an epic construction, and epically cool. It was one of the, like, the wonders of the world kind of thing. And I built it, and it was really cool. So anyway, though, it's one of those things, and now you can see basically the shape of it in this last program that what's called that greenhouse. That shape was actually used as a glass bottom ship, and it was pretty cool.